Breaking news! Obesity's reached South Africa. Stay tuned for this informational video.
We all know that America and other developed countries have struggled with obesity, but did you know the issue is spreading? As the world became more globalized, fast food chains spread to developing countries. When countries become more connected to each other with the expansion of technology, they also share aspects of popular culture, like fast food chains and fashion. The arrival of fast food started when the first McDonald's opened in Johannesburg almost 20 years ago. Many of the children there were excited to go because they had seen McDonald's in media and on TV. This made the fast food joints very popular because everyone wanted to try. The fast food industry in developing countries skyrocketed and is now up to almost 200 McDonald's in South Africa alone. Now that there have been many fast food restaurants there for some time, the obesity rate has increased, especially in developing countries. The number of obese or overweight people in developing countries rose from 250 million to almost 1 billion in under 3 decades. Will this trend continue? Will obesity continue to spread throughout the world? Or will healthy foods save the day? Only time can tell.
Wow! That video gave me the chills. I'm here with a nutritionist to ask questions. How are you today, Lori?
I'm swell, feeling very healthy today. How about yourself?
I'm awesome. We have some questions about obesity for you. Why are people becoming obese?
Genetics is running in the family. It's definitely a major cause. Other causes include sedentary lifestyle. We tend to be entertained by electronics rather than active pursuits. Like kids just don't want to go out and play outside as much as they did 20 plus years ago. Easy access to high calorie, easy to eat foods and suppressing of food servings. A lot of foods are higher in refined sugars and flour as well as high in starch. Most foods nowadays are extremely high in fructose corn syrup, which isn't good for our body in high quantities. These fatty and sugary foods are also usually GMOs, which means the food was genetically modified for some purpose. This could be to preserve it for longer or to make the project larger or a certain color.
That's crazy! We should watch what we put in our bodies and much more carefully. What are some of the most threatening causes of obesity?
Increased chronic disease, mainly type 2 diabetes, which in turn is a major cause of cardiovascular disease. Adult onset blindness, kidney failure, and lower limb amputations. Also, obesity is a huge factor in hypertension, thus strokes, not something anyone wants, arthritis and joint problems, and many cancers.
Since children are becoming more obese, do you think that obesity will get better or worse within the next 10 years?
The obesity rate in children has actually leveled off in the last few years. It is not continuing to increase. In the future, obesity rates should be stabilizing overall, or maybe even slowly decreasing. However, just staying the same as they now is not good. Our current rate of type 2 diabetes and other obesity-related illnesses are way too high. If you look at the cost of obesity in economic terms, it is quite concerning. Obesity is resulting in huge healthcare costs, as well as costs due to decrease in productivity in workers as they take time off to deal with healthcare issues.
Thank you very much for your valuable time and information, Lori.
No problem. As a health specialist, I love to educate people on this sort of thing. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact me.
Back to the studio.
Hi, this is Stacy, and I'm at a local McDonald's. Well, you see, the origin of obesity is always fast food. The obesity rate in America has doubled from 1980 to the year 2000.
At least we are surviving and not dying because some of us can't afford the fancy organic food.
Well, she does have a good point. Bringing in fast food restaurants affects economic growth and does help the country grow and develop despite the obesity. It helps to develop and create businesses. Also, from a survival standpoint, having excess fat isn't a bad thing. When a person eats a lot of fatty foods, the fat is stored in their body. If the person later on does not have access to the food, the body will use the stored fat rather than attack the muscles. And now, back to you, Freddie.
Thanks, Stacy. I'm here with a human geographer here to tell us how obesity affects urbanization.
Yes, as we established earlier, obesity increases when fast food industries increase. When new fast food joints come in, it increases the amount of businesses in the area, which brings in new jobs and opportunities, boosting the economy. This is a low-order function which contributes to the service economy. It especially helps developing countries, which is the main reason behind fast food industries increasing in them.
Why are there still so many in developed countries such as America?
Well, the places where fast food industries are highly concentrated is usually in food deserts. A food desert is an area where there is not a lot of access to fresh and healthy foods. This makes the fast food and unhealthy options more accessible to people, which makes it the more attractive option. People rarely like to travel outside of their daily activity spaces just to get healthy food, which is way more expensive anyways. Not having access to healthy food is a main factor to obesity.
How much of a problem is obesity?
Well, I'd say it's a pretty big issue. More than 2 in 3 adults are considered obese, and it is on the rise due to child obesity. More than 1 in 6 children and adolescents from ages 6 to 19 are considered to be obese.
Wow! How did this happen, and what is the history of obesity?
Well, obesity first became prevalent after the Third Agricultural Revolution. This revolution is also known as the Green Revolution. This is when the use of new agricultural practices began. The reason why the Green Revolution occurred is because people wanted a way to produce more food so malnourished and impoverished people could have access to food. With this revolution, foods were created in such surplus that most of the time they didn't even reach these third world countries where people needed them most. Along with the Third Agricultural Revolution came the use of genetically modified organisms and an influx in the use of chemicals and unhealthy substances in the making of food, such as corn syrup. Foods being processed less healthily and in more quantities led to people becoming much more obese. This eventually spread to all other parts of the world, and with globalization it spread to other countries, like South Africa.
And that is all for this week, and next week we're talking about terrorists in Vietnam. Bye-bye.